You already know. Let me get it right. Let me get it right. You already know who it is. I'm on asharenu, or for sure asharenu. We back in here for a Q&A. I know I haven't did one of these in a minute, so we're gonna knock this out real quick before we move on to our next task. I'm gonna shuffle up the cards. So what's up, Spinosaurus? What's the deal? What's the deal? What's good? What's good? So we're gonna shuffle up. We're gonna see what's the deal. What's up, Bill? Fire Capricorn. What's up? What's up? What's up? See, I want to apologize for the last video, but I really don't at the same time. What's up, Leandro? What's up, the Prime Ascension? I kind of caught myself off guard. So yeah, with the membership videos, I pretty much wear all black. You know, just so y'all weren't even supposed to see that shit, but it is what it is. But I just did the part 2 to the Sutek video, so that once I finish this video, the part 2 to the Sutek video will be online for the members on the website, so y'all will be getting that part 2 as soon as I'm done with this one. But I just, you know, I'm just in the mood to do a couple videos, you know, all at once. So this is what this is. But nonetheless, you know, the jewel was just for the public, so it is what it is. I ain't tripping. What's up, Anthony? What's up, Chancey? What's up, G-Star? So we'll pull a couple cards. But also what I want to speak about is the symbolism of reality. You know, before we start, you know, dealing with the questions and all that. And again, hopefully, you know, hopefully we can knock this out in under 30 minutes. So, you know, I definitely want to be time efficient. So the reason I entitled this The Symbolism of Reality is because, as we know, this is a matrix. Whether we want to call it real or unreal is irrelevant, because if the mind thinks it's real, excuse me, it is real. That's what we have to really understand first and foremost. Whether we want to call it a matrix, real, unreal, Maya, it don't matter, it do matter. If the mind makes it real, it's real, to you at least. So that's the first thing. And what is it that makes something real is the symbolism. Because it's the symbolism that affects the subconscious mind, as we already know, or we should know by now. But why is that? Why is it that the symbolism of reality affects you in the way it does? What is it about symbols that triggers certain aspects of the mind? Why? Because symbols are angles of light, or vantage points of light. Pretty much, it's like looking at a diamond and its surface, which is highly reflective. So no matter which direction you turn it, it's going to sparkle, and some part of that diamond is going to sparkle, no matter which way you turn it. That's how symbols are. It don't matter which way you turn it, it's going to give you a different aspect of life. So that's why when we look at, let's just say, for example, deities. Each deity has its own, I don't want to call it costume. Each deity has its own symbolism within its personality, right? So each deity, you can say, not only does, you know, it's the god or goddess or whatever it is attributes, but you also have what the deity wears and how the deity wears what it wears. What I mean, if you look up any deity, no two deities have the same attire on exactly. There's always variations in how the deity looks in comparison of other deities to other deities. So there's a reason, even in this personality, of what type of jewelry is worn, or what type of colors are worn, and what type of attire is worn. It's all based on the personality of that deity, or the symbolism of that deity, and what aspect of the mind that it works with. So when you look at the color green, or the color red, or the color blue, or the color yellow, this is activating a certain part of the conscious. So when you meditate upon an image of a deity, and not just the image as a whole image, see, that's where we start. We start more so in the right brain, and when we meditate on these deities and these forms and these symbols, we look at the symbol as one whole thing. We don't look at it as separate elements. We look at it as one whole thing to begin with. But the deeper and deeper we go into the meditation, the deeper and deeper we go into the trance, we start to decode the individual aspects of the symbol. And when we start to decode the individual aspects of the symbol, okay, what does this jewelry mean? Why is it gold versus silver? Why is it this color versus that color? So once you start decoding the symbolisms, the colors, why certain things are different, what's up with that crown? Right? What does that crown mean? What does that jewelry mean? What does that color mean? You know, why do you have on jewelry in those particular places? The ankles, you know, the wrist up here. Why is the jewelry in these strategic places? I just told you on the last video, when you have the ability to manipulate metal and you wear metal on you and you can manipulate and alter metal, I'm not going to tell you, but just put your imagination to it. If we already have the ability to manipulate metal and you got two huge gold or silver bangles on your wrist and on your ankles, what do you think you can do with that? I'll allow the imagination to piece it together for you, but you can put it together, you know, if you're witty. However, of course, these sciences are not ever talked about in today's times and will never be talked about, not because it's not known, but I spoke about this before. They would take your culture away from you and sell it back to you in the form of comic books, movies, you know, anything to get you to pay your money. And they flip the script on you and give you a watered down version of what's already yours, of your mythology, of your ancient stories, of stories that have been in existence for tens and thousands of years, tens of thousands, or hundreds of thousands of years. Because we don't understand it, it's sold back to us. But this is what I want to point out. What I want to point out is you don't have to learn hieroglyphics, or you don't have to necessarily learn what each symbol represents based on the textbooks, because that's just what they think it represents. Oh, okay, this symbol represents this represents this represents this. That's all based on study. But personal experience takes you deeper into the symbolism. And this is what I mean by you start to decode things on an individual aspect versus a holistic image. Because we're more so told, so okay, let's focus on the image. Don't necessarily focus on the specific aspects of the image. Focus on the image as a whole. Then certain things will stand out to you. Then you focus in on the things that stand out to you. And you go into those mysteries. See, each deity is a mathematical formula or a scientific, or let me say it this way, a mathematical equation or a scientific formula. So therefore, not only does this activate something within you, it can also influence your life on an external level as well. So these are not just things that were made up just haphazardly. I guess that's what people think. Every deity was created with a specific intention to unlock specific chambers of the mind and to have a particular specific experience. This is all based in mathematics, and this is all based in law. None of this was random. None of this was haphazard. But due to us not fully understanding it or depending on other people to decode it for us, and if their mind does not go deep into the depths of the culture, which it does not, when we receive the information, we're receiving it in a watered down, quantity or quality, not quantity, quality. Because the quality has been watered down, we're only getting, let's just say, 1/5 of the total science. We're still missing the essential 4 aspects. It's like talking about the element of fire and leaving out the spirit, the water, the air, and the earth. But exploring the mysteries of fire does get you some type of, some type of fulfillment within. However, it's only when you have the personal experience, when your third eye beams open and decodes the symbols for you, where you never had to read a book about symbolism because you have opened up your third eye, and the third eye can teach you the things that you can't be taught from a book. This is why we study. We don't necessarily study to become smart. We study to open up the books that are already within the DNA. Because it's the books already within the DNA codes, the genetic codes, your genetics. There are things already within our genes that activates when we have certain experiences. This is why it is connected to us on a personal level. Why? Because these sciences are connected with your genes. This is why a woman can be in the hood and be a hood queen and vice versa, because it's already in her genes to be queen-like. Has nothing to do with how much money she has or he has. Has nothing to do with the type of lifestyle they live or don't live. It's just strictly about their genetic pool. If it's in a person's genetics to be a certain way, or to access or to have potentials in certain areas of life, then that's just what it's going to be, because that's just strictly based on genetics. So when we work with these deities, we're working with our DNA codes or our genetics. So there's going to always be certain deities that resonate with you a lot more, because each person belongs to a certain school. If we take it back to the ancient days, every person that was born belonged to a certain school or a certain deity. That's why you had the cult of Osiris, the cult of Isis, the cult of Set, the cult of Horus. Any deity you can name, there were followers and priests of that cult, based on your attributes you had when you was brought into this world. So a reader or an astrologer could read you and like, okay, that's a child of this, that's a child of that. Then they would take you to those people. As they say, it takes a village to raise a child. You will now be amongst a village that identifies with the same attributes you have. And they will raise you up in their village because y'all have the same genetic pool. And when you have the same genetic pool, because this is what the deities were based off of, each deity is based off of a DNA code that can be activated. Remember, you have the DNA that's activated, but then you have what they call junk DNA, which isn't real. It's just the DNA codes that are activated when you exercise your spirituality. That 90% of your brain that is inactive. You only need 10% of your brain to live life. That other 90% is you accessing the deeper chambers of your mind, utilizing your spirituality by purifying yourself with your soul force or your soul's flame. Why? By going deeper into the earth, the halls of Amenti, right? To purify yourself so that you know who you are. As they say, man, woman, know thyself. You know yourself when you know what school of thought you belong to, based on what you're connected with, based on what you are naturally drawn to. We all exhibit certain attributes that can link us with a certain deity. So when you study the world and the cultures of the world, it links you with all the deities that resonate with you. So when you start to work with the deities that resonate with you, why? Because if you have no knowledge of these deities, how do you know what resonates with you or not if you don't have the knowledge? The books just give you the knowledge to then put that work in. The books give you the knowledge to locate and to identify the deities. Then you put that work in, which will help you to develop a unique understanding based on now you have your own personal experience, which activated or brought online your DNA codes, which alter your genetic codes based on who and what you are. And you explore the many mysteries hidden within yourself. Right? So there we go. Let me give everybody a shout out. What's up, Sekmek, once again. What's up, Quiet Storm? You're a very attractive, intelligent man, very handsome. I appreciate that. As always, what's up, O'Shea? What's up, Set? What's up, Abnormal Dark Serpent? What's up, Sinej? However you say that. Again, apologies for saying anybody's name wrong. So once again, the symbolism of reality. You decode reality the more you know what school of thought you belong to, what deities you resonate with, what scientific formulas that brings your DNA codes online, what mathematical equations help you to exercise your magical ability and potential. This is all old religion. This is what the old religion did. So this is why we don't have none of this stuff going on in the New Age movement. As spiritual as everybody claim they are, nobody is teaching this type of science. Why? Because it is based on genetics. It's not based on somebody can give you a certificate. Oh, you a Reiki teacher because you went through the classes or you got the book knowledge. Some people are naturally gifted with those abilities and never had to go to a school, and those are the true healers, the ones who came to this world to heal versus the ones who made a decision to heal but may not have anything about themselves that resonates with them going down that path. But again, when we exist in a world where that tells you can be anything you want to be, instead of telling you be what you came here to be, and the only way for you to know what you came here to be is to study your roots and your foundation. However, if the roots and the foundation are non-existent, then it's hard to know what you are here for. Again, a lot of us may have came into this world and the families were already broken, the families were already at war. Regardless of the situations, somehow we always find a way back to what we already are. We don't evolve into something else. We just become more of self. And the more of self we become, that's the true ascension. It's not to become what you are not, but to become what you already are. And we already are light beings possessing light bodies. Like this light, this body reflects light. That's why it can absorb light and it can retransmit it to suit other functions in the body. You absorb the sunlight, and the sunlight then transmute into all type of natural resources for the body to activate and be able to utilize whatever it needs to be. As they say, vitamin D, but it goes deeper than vitamin D. Again, this is the light of Sirius. The sun is the light of Sirius. So you're getting intelligence when you sun gaze, when you stand into the sun, when you allow your skin to soak in the sun, That's intelligence. You are pulling down intelligence from the extraterrestrial realm or higher dimensions. And that information is coming to you in the form of symbolism. Symbolism. So it's not necessarily like somebody speaking to you. It's symbolism being downloaded into your DNA codes that activate at certain times during your life. So we may think, okay, this happened and this made me spiritual because this happened and this happened. It was already predestined for you to wake up when you woke up based on your genetics. This is all about genetics and your DNA codes activating at particular time periods based on who and what you already are. All these things are already set in stone. All right. Is chi the same thing as prana and ether? Yeah. It's just different schools of thought have their own unique perspective of the same energy, which I feel is valid for everybody to study. So study what they call as ether. Study carbon. Study melanin. Study the various forms of energy, prana, chi. See what each different culture of the world saw and how they utilize that energy, because they all utilize it based on their tradition and based on their culture. So when you know how they use it, how the Tibetans use it, how the Chinese use it, how the Japanese use it, how the Hindis use it, so on and so forth. It's the same energy being utilized based on a person's tradition and culture. So when you see how everybody utilizes the same energy in their own unique way to build their own unique kingdoms, the same energy, but it gives the world so much diversity. The same primitive energy gives the world so much diversity. Same energy being utilized just based on how a person's genetic code is. And that's all they reflect. It's not about learning, from an external source. Education is about awakening from within. To truly educate a person is to help them awaken what's already within them. Right? Anyway. see. Bro, I dressed up as Shiva and manifested everything. See, Shiva is the destroyer, right? Shiva is the destroyer because you have the creator, the preserver, and the destroyer. Shiva is the destroyer, just like Kali. That's why Shiva and Kali, or Shiva and Shakti, or Shiva and Parvati have their mysteries, right? This is why the Hindi or the Hindu culture is very, very intricate. There's various paths of Shiva. Shiva can also be a tantric god, as well as a god to level out the playing field, or pretty much you can say possess the attributes of Kali, just as a male. So Shiva not only creates but can also destroy. It all depends on what form of Hinduism you choose to study. So all of these deities can be linked back to an ancient source based on your DNA code. So there's a reason why you're drawn to Egyptian culture, or the Hindu culture, or the Islamic culture, or the Western occult culture, whatever you want to call it, right? There's a reason why we are drawn to ancient traditions and try to implement them in, as we call today, the New Age or the Kali Yuga, where there's so many people ignorant, but the ones who are awakened, the ones who can tap into the chi, or the real, the intelligence from the cosmos, they will be the ones who rise in power. And this time, it's not really going to be the people, the scholars, and the people with the book knowledge, because anybody can go to school and get book knowledge and become a scholar at anything. A scholar does not need personal experience to be a scholar at whatever their subject is. You can be a scholar on hip-hop and teach hip-hop classes, but never made a hip-hop song and never wrote a 16 bars. But you can be a scholar in hip-hop. Like, that's a real thing. There's scholars of hip-hop who never written a 16, never made a beat, never bust a move, never did graffiti, but they are qualified on paper to teach hip-hop. In the New Age, it will be the ones who participate, the ones who have the personal experience, because those are the ones you can speak to and they actually speak about something real, versus the ones who just speak about something that they have no personal experience with. How can someone teach you something that they themselves have not personally experienced? But this is the world we live in. The world we live in is based on you have to be certified, and once you're certified, then you can do whatever you need to do. It's not based on personal experience and knowledge that came from the roots. Like, you have to go to specific schools to get specific knowledge, then they certify you. This is how the system is structured. However, we are in the times. Again, now we have computers. Now we have the internet. Now we have social media. So now we no longer have to depend on these gatekeepers that were keeping you away from your greatness because you had to go through a particular person or a particular business or a particular union to achieve any type of status, which meant that you had to reflect whatever their agenda was and whatever you were doing. We no longer have to submit to that type of lifestyle. We now have the ability to create from scratch, to create from nothing. Not that we didn't have it before, but we now have advanced technology to do what we already know how to do. Can you do it without computers, without the internet, without social media? Absolutely. Can you just go out there and hit the pavement and manifest straight out of your mind, having that direct experience? Absolutely. It all depends on who and what you are and what you are here to do. Because we all can create anything, but it's going to be easier for you to create certain things based on your genetics, based on how you are built. For example, there are people who can easily manifest money. There are people who can easily manifest women or men, people who can easily manifest, just various elements of the earth. Then there's people who can manifest various types of information and intelligence that's intangible. So there's people who are good at manifesting the tangibles of life. Then there are people who are good at manifesting the intangibles of life. You can say the healing, the cosmic healing, the cosmic knowledge, that primordial knowledge, that root information that come directly from interacting with the spirits of the earth and the spirits of the stars. Just based on how you are built, based on who and what you are, will determine how you tap in and how you utilize your magic based on what school of thought or what cult that you belong to based on the deities that you are drawn to. That's why every deity, the more you study the world and the cultures, you will be drawn to certain deities. Then you realize, okay, I'm kind of drawn to the same deity in all of these pantheons. Then you realize, okay, that same deity resonates with a planetary energy, and that same planetary energy resonates with a deeper energy, so on and so forth. Can that planetary energy be connected to a planetary energy within me? Absolutely. So you start with the earth, with the deities, takes you to the cosmos, which, takes you right back to the inside of the human body. All right. So there we go, God damn it. Let me see. I resonate with Kelly, but I feel like I'm already a very no BS dominant person. Should I work with her or connect with a more feminine energy? It all depends on what you're trying to do. Like, do you feel you want to be more feminine because you're dominant? Do you want to, do you feel you need to balance it out, or do you not mind being that dominant woman? It all depends on what you're trying to bring into existence. So if you don't mind being that dominant figure, then work with Kali. But if you are trying to tone it down a little bit, I would say work with Shakti. So you got Kali, but then you got Shakti, which is more like the Great Mother, the virgin energy, or like the Isis. So Shakti is like the Isis, Kali, is like the, you can say like a Sekhmet, so on and so forth. There's various ways that you can piece these deities together because the deities change form. So you can say in the early days, a deity may resonate or represent these attributes, but again, once the culture starts to change, that same deity can resonate with different attributes, just depending on, what time period you're dealing with. This is also why we have to study all things. All things are available to us to study, because you may resonate with a certain form of a deity from an older time that don't have nothing to do with this time. So on and so forth. So, let me see. Do I know anything about timeline? Any input on 11/11/2018? Oh, yeah. I see what you're talking about. But to me, I don't look at specific days that, okay, it's about to be a special day to do a specific type of ritual or a specific type of thing. To me, every day is an opportunity to manifest a particular type of energy, because every day is ruled by a planetary energy. Every hour is ruled by a planetary energy. So we don't have to wait to certain days to do rituals. You just have to know your timing. Once you know the planets and what planet to connect with to bring about what result in your life, then you do your ritual at that particular hour or on that particular day. So if you need to tap into the energy of the sun, you would do a ritual on Sunday or the hour of the sun on any other day. So you don't have to wait till Sunday. You can, like, the hour of the sun comes at least 2 times every day. Once in the daytime, once at night. Sometimes it's a little bit, it may be 3, just depending on the day, because the planetary hours always change. So it's like 6 a.m. is not going to always be the hour of the sun. 6 a.m. may be any planet, just depending on the day. So they're not stagnant like that. So again, I'm just saying all that to say, I don't necessarily, focus on particular days. I'm more so like, whenever I need to do something, you got to break it down to a planetary energy, which can be broken down further into a chakra point, and you work with that particular chakra point, or you work with that particular mantra, or you work with that particular energy. It all depends on what you want to do. So we don't have to wait for specific days or specific hours, or not specific hours. We don't have to wait for portals to open up. They're always open. This is all about, what do you want to do? And what energy does that resonate with? That's why we study and we get more specific about the energies that we work with, right? Everything that you can possibly want out of life can be broken down to a planetary energy. And if you are not at a place where you know what planetary energy creates what experience in life, then that's why you study. So that way, you know what you're doing when you do your magic, instead of wishing and hoping. You don't have to wish and hope if you already know what you're doing. You don't have to guess. You don't have to wonder. You don't have to just rely on something intangible. Since you already know what's what, you know how to piece things together. You know where what belongs. You know this goes over here. This goes over here. This is right here. This is right here. This is when I activate this. This is when I activate that. When you get specific about what you are doing, then it's easier to bring about results in your life because you know what you are doing. You don't have to depend on some type of intangible God that people are still trapped into. They still believing in God, not viewing themselves as a creator. And like you as a creator are arranging carbon, you are putting mathematical equations together that we call symbols or sigil magic. We are putting mathematical equations together from our intelligence and create an experience, an internal experience or external. We are invoking energy or evoking, invoke or evoke, internal or external. We start thinking more like scientists and less like a religious fanatic. Become the scientist, not the religious fanatic who's just, depending on, who's more intuitive. I'm not going to say their experience is invalid, but they're more so, their whole lifestyle is based on intuition instead of it being based on specific formulas and elements and alchemical processes. All right. And again, I know this may be a little technical for people, but again, that's why I have the website and I put extra videos on there to give you further insight, just in case, some things are not really resonating with you. That's why I got the articles. So if anything is not clearly understood, you got the website as another access point for you to go deeper. All right. What energy work do you recommend? In terms of energy work, it really all depends on what you were trying to accomplish, because depending on what you were trying to accomplish will determine what tradition that you study. For example, like when we look at the Chinese masters, they utilize Qi energy to master their martial arts. When we look at the Hindus or the Hindu in India, they utilize their prana to be able to ascend beyond gross matter, to be able to activate their telepathy, to be able to literally access the hidden chambers of the mind, the siddhi, right? To be able to do miraculous things, but stay in a meditative state. So the Chinese were like fighting warriors. You go to India, they were fighters, but they were more still. They were more about yoga. Let me keep my body in shape. Let me keep my posture in shape, but I'm not going around, kicking and punching everybody. And so on and so forth, right? You take it to Africa. Remember, you take it to Africa, why do they wear the mask? Because if you take it to Chinese, their elements, they don't have fire, water, air, earth, spirit. Their spirit element is what? Wood. So when you see the Africans with the wood mask, wood channels spirit. And because wood channels spirit, when they put on the mask of the deity, whatever deity that they're channeling, they created a mask for that deity. So the spirit or the prana or the chi can manifest through that mask, which now has become a symbol or a sigil for that deity. The same way you draw sigils, the mask becomes a symbol or a sigil for that deity. You put on the mask and now you get possessed by that spirit. That's ancient science. That's not something random that they just figured out. That was information that was given to them by the Most High, or as they call a 10, whatever their God was. So you just have to ask yourself, when you study the cultures of the world, what resonates with you? What culture reflects what you're trying to do now? Are you trying to master your body in the martial arts? Are you trying to master your body in the yogic arts? Are you trying to master your body in the tantric arts? Are you trying to master your body with spirit possession and spiritual healing? Are you trying to master your body with occult information in the Western occultism or the Hermeticism with the universal laws? It all depends on what you are trying to bring into existence. Because depending on what you're trying to bring into existence, there's a culture that base their whole spiritual system or their whole science on bringing that specific thing into existence. So once you identify what it is that you're trying to do, then there is a culture that has already perfected that science, and you tap into that science that has already been perfected for you. Instead of you having to start from scratch, it's already been explored and discovered. All right. Is it possible to time travel? Absolutely. Absolutely. It's just all about getting into a trance state. Get into a trance state and exercising your mind. Like, it's all mental. Like, it ain't really, it's not something that somebody's going to pick you up and take you somewhere. You have to find the path yourself. It's all mental. For example, like, is people still having problems with their dreams? Their dreams are not as vivid as they want them to be. Their astral traveling is not as proper as they want it to be. So this is what I mean. There is a certain school of thought that helps you perfect that, which is called dream yoga. Dream yoga helps you to perfect your sleeping and your astral travel. So this is what I mean by there's a school of thought that is specifically dedicated to whatever science that you're trying to perfect in your life. You just have to study to be able to identify it. And again, that's why I offer the website. If you don't have all the time to read all these books, the website is a combination or collaboration of information from all around the world. So you got to read 1,000 books. It's like a quick shortcut to give you a quick foundation of Eastern philosophy, Western philosophy, African cosmology, so on and so forth, right? So that's why I offer the website. It's just a shortcut for those who don't have 1,000,000 hours to read through all these books and these cultures. It's already there for you, just so you know. So I did that just to make things a little bit easier, because I know this takes years of study. It's not going to be something that just happened overnight, you know. But you said for spells, well, you know, whenever you're dealing with spell work, you know, you're dealing with the root magic. So whenever you're dealing with root magic, then, you know, you're dealing with voodoo. You know, so you got to take it to those African. You got to take it to the Congo. Take it to those Congo arts, that Palo Mayombe. You know, study that African cosmology. You know, those 7 African powers, so on and so forth. That is Zuli energy. You know, so voodoo will be your answer. And when you are able to identify it like that, like, okay, I want to do this. Okay, I got to study this. When you're able to identify it, then you know you're working with something. All right. What's a good starting point if you feel lost or overwhelmed by all this information that's out there? Well, that's what I just said with the website. That's why I offer the website, $5 a month. You know, so if you're confused about anything, so I got over 100 articles. Information from all around the world, so 100 articles for you. You know, just get you a quick start. And within one of those articles, you're going to resonate with something. It may be Eastern, it may be Western, it may be somewhere in between. So you're going to read one of those articles, and it's going to resonate with you, and that's going to take you on a journey that you need to be in. Because again, it's information from all over the world. You know what I mean? It's not just dedicated to just the dark side. It ain't just dedicated to the light side. It's all of it. All of it is there. So if you are somebody who don't know where to start, I would say start at the website. And not because it's my website, just because of the information that's on the website. You know, it will be able to direct you in the right path, just making you familiar with what is available to you. Then you can take it yourself and do whatever you please with it. All right. But yeah, is it possible to obtain the power of time travel? Absolutely. Like, there's deities dedicated to time. Chronos. You want to know about time and the mysteries of time? Study and practice with the deity of Chronos. And that's just from Greek mythology. You know, there's Kali. You got Kali as well. Study Kali, Chronos, anything that resonates with the energy of Saturn. Because Saturn is all about time and time management. So you're working with the energy of Saturn or the energy of Satan, the energy of mathematics. So this is what I mean, you know. Just pick a culture and explore those mysteries. It's all there. It's all there for you. So that's what it is, you know. So unless anybody has any more questions, I think I did the justice. Gave y'all this video, little extra jewel, the last video. You know, so I didn't even do it. I didn't even do a tarot reading, but you see, we don't even need the cards. We don't even need the cards. We can just go right out the dome as we usually do. So we're gonna keep the information coming. You know, I'm definitely going to start doing videos a lot more often. I just realized, you know, I had to do videos earlier. So as y'all see, it's like fucking 10 in the morning or something. Well, 11 now. So I just had to do my videos a little bit earlier. You know, once everybody, you know, everybody's just in their own world, so without any disruptions and any of that. So I plan on doing the videos a lot more frequently, but a lot more earlier, if possible. And we'll just build from there. So again, I appreciate everybody for tuning in. I appreciate all the support. You know, definitely check out the website. The website is not just for the members; it's also all the services I offer. So definitely check out the website, see if there's anything that you're interested in, and go from there. What books do I recommend? I don't recommend in any books. I recommend working directly with energy. If you want to know about shapeshifting, there's a deity that will teach you the arts of shapeshifting. You just have to locate the deity that teaches you the sciences. Now, yes, is there a book? I'm pretty sure you can type in Google and find a book about shapeshifting, sure. But I would prefer you get the information from a more authentic source based off of an energy frequency that has already been laid down for that science already. Like the deity has already been laid, the foundation has already been laid for us. So we don't have to abandon all these deities because we live in a new age or the modern times. We don't have to abandon the ancient science. It's already been laid down. We just got to tap this, awaken it from within you. It's something that is dormant or asleep within you. It just got to be woken up. So there's a deity that will teach you those arts. You just have to find what that deity is and make it work for you. Or again, if you just prefer to read books, then you know. But I'm not going to recommend a book because my whole thing is to get direct experience. So I'm not here to recommend books for nobody besides encyclopedias. The only books that I recommend are encyclopedias so that you can learn the spirits, so you can learn the culture, so you can learn the traditions. So that's why I recommend the Encyclopedia of the Magical Herbs. That's going to teach you the earth magic. The Encyclopedia of Spirits, that's going to teach you all the deities of the planet. The Encyclopedia of Crystals, you know, that's going to teach you about the crystals. Like whatever it is that you're already into, there's an encyclopedia for it so that you can gather all the information you need to be the master magician that you are born to be the adept that you already are. So you already got encyclopedias for it. You got books for it if you are a reader, and you got the deities if you want that direct experience. So there's various ways. You know, the choice is yours about how you choose to go about it. All right. Can I speak about the correct way to meditate? Just lay down. See, some people think when you meditate, you got to be in half lotus position, you know, like a yogi. Just lay down in your bed, get relaxed like you normally would, and just work your mind. That's the only difference. Like when you lay down to go to bed at night, let's just say you go to bed at 9 p.m., wake yourself up at 12 p.m., where you're still sleepy to the point where if you relax yourself, you will go back to sleep. That's when you work your magic. So when you want to, you know, go to a specific place in your dreams, you want to communicate with a certain deity, you do all that when you are in a trance state or that in-between state of sleep and awakeness. You got to do it in that in-between state. If you do it when you're just strictly conscious, it's going to take a little longer. But if you do it in that in-between state or that alpha brainwave state, if we want to be specific, and that's why I have the binaural beats or the isochronic tones on my page as well. So definitely check out my playlist of all my isochronic tones for those who wish to go deeper and explore meditation, because the isochronic tones will help you to get into those deeper dream states, which is why they're on the channel. So definitely tap into those isochronic tones on my playlist on the channel to help you get deeper into those alpha brainwave states. There you go. Again, I got all the work for you already. Y'all just have to explore. You know, most of the work is already available for you. You know, all right. What do I know? What school of thought I belong? How can I receive information? What I want? Like, this is basically, like, I'm pretty much repeating myself now. The whole video was dedicated on how to do that, but you may not have been here. So let me just briefly go in. Study the cultures of the world. Study China. Study Japan. Study India. Study Africa. Study America. Study Australia. Study, Germany. Norse mythology. Egyptian mythology. Hindu mythology. Chinese mythology. Japanese mythology. So on and so forth. And through the study of these mythologies and these deities, you're going to read the description of certain deities that resonate with you. Like, oh, that seemed like a deity that I would want to work with. And you proceed to work with that deity after you study. If you have not studied, then you don't have the knowledge to work with. So in order for you to obtain the proper information, you have to study. And through your study, you will come into contact with the proper deity that you will feel drawn to on an intuitive level. Not because I told you, you will feel an intuitive pull or draw to that particular deity, and you go from there. So you have to study. If you don't study, then you're not going to know what anything is because you have not studied. This is why you study, to be able to identify what's what. And once you can identify what's what, then you can start to work with it once you know what it is. If you don't know what it is, then how can you work with it? That's what it's about. You know? Again, this is why it's all about dedication. This is why this is not a quick fix. This is why this is not something that you just switch on and switch off at your leisure. This is something that you have to dedicate your life to. I don't know how many times I got to say this. This is a life dedication. There's no reason to even be here if you don't plan on studying to be able to identify the magic that you are trying to work with. You know, I don't know, motherfuckers would go into debt at going after these college diplomas. You know, but when you start talking about some real shit, it's like, yeah, you know. But that's just the way the world is. It's all about how bad do you want it? How bad do you want it? You know, if a person wouldn't blink twice about going into debt, pursuing their education, then you shouldn't think twice about putting in that hard work or proper study so that you can properly do magic. You know, because this will enhance every aspect of your life. So is it worth it? Absolutely, but you got to make it worth it. Like, you got to make it worth it. It's not gonna be worth it until you make it worth it. Like, for example, I know for myself, it wasn't until I actually started doing shit that I realized, oh, spirituality has enhanced my life. It didn't happen when I was reading or studying. It happened when I started to apply it. That's when I'm like, oh, this shit actually works. Not when I read it. When I read it, it sparked the interest. The spark of interest turned into actively doing things. And through actively doing things, that translated into results. And the results translated into, okay, this actually works. And it can be repeated. It can be observed. I can see it working physically, and it can be repeated over and over again. So this must be something based on scientific information and mathematical equations. If I can observe it and repeat it, it's like a mantra. For everybody out there who know about mantras and who have utilized mantras and they have been brought to life right in front of your eyes, then you know what I'm talking about. Because mantras are scientific formulas or mathematical equations. So you will be able to observe results and be able to repeat results over and over and over and over again, which essentially just means it enhances your life once you put it into action. But if you don't know what a mantra is, or you don't know what a mantra does, then it's not going to work for you. So you have to identify the mantra before you use it. Then you have to utilize the mantra to understand the effect it has on you. And you have to do it over and over again to be able to repeat those results, to know that, okay, this is something that can be repeated and utilized over and over again at my leisure. But all this happens, you have to be able to identify what everything is first. All right, somebody saying you can't see the website, just type in asharenu.com. ASHARENU.com. And if it doesn't work for you, try a different browser, because the website is up. You know, I check it every day. There's no problems with it. So if you're having problems with it, just check from a different browser, and it should work fine for you. You know, so yeah, we're definitely making sure that everything is up and running, everything is smooth. You know, I'm probably going to be updating the website soon as well. Just give it a different feel, give it a different look every now and then. You know, so there we go. To talk to a deity, do I need to sharpen my astral senses? You definitely will have to take that a lot seriously. But how do you take that seriously? Inversion. I speak about this a lot. If you want to take your astral projection experiences more seriously, practice inversion. So 20 minutes before you go to bed, stand on your head. This is what inversion is. It's stand on your head for 20 minutes. And that will help the blood go to the pineal gland and will help brighten up your dreams. Right? So if that's what you're trying to do, study dream yoga and also practice inversion. And also practice the 5 Tibetan rites. The 5 Tibetan rites, inversion, dream yoga. There you go. But it's not going to make any sense until you actually do it yourself. So I can talk about it all day, but until you actually apply it and you study it and you develop your own understanding, it's not going to make any sense. But that's how it's supposed to be. That's why it keeps the people out who's not supposed to be a part of it, because they're not going to dedicate themselves fully to this, because it doesn't reap the type of rewards that they are willing to pay. Pretty much, they are not willing to pay the cost. Like if you told a person you got to study 7 years before you get any results, most people are not going to do it. But the one who actually studies for 7 years will reap all of the benefits, because they actually dedicated themselves. Because they wasn't looking for a quick fix. They wasn't looking for something just to turn over a bad situation that they may have ended up in. They were talking about how to be in the spirit realm 24/7. Not how to get yourself out of a bad situation, or how to get more money, or how to get more. It wasn't about more. It was about being simple, having a proper discernment to simplify your life, not to add on more. But again, it takes time to understand this stuff. It just takes a little time. And if you are willing to dedicate the time to properly understand, then you'll be good to go. But if you're trying to rush it, trying to skip levels, then you're going to get to a place where nothing's going to make sense to you, and you're going to have to start over. All right. Okay. I was listening to you in the cab, and the driver wanted to know if you were Muslim. I had an interesting conversation about Mayat, the Egyptian goddess. He was a more American. What struck him is that you talk how they do in the temple. Also said the Mason teach you 180, what they want you to know. This is what I mean by when you study. So just like Raw Light just said, like somebody would just, I guess he just had me on in the cab, and somebody was listening, they don't even know what's going on. Like I speak like I'm from the temple, because you study. That's why I speak like I'm, because I understand that you have to have that study under your belt. Like it wasn't enough for me to get the knowledge out the streets. I also had to study. I got the street knowledge, but I understand I had to get the so-called book knowledge too. I had to learn what these words are. I had to learn these terms so that I can speak to you guys about it and make sense. You know what I mean? As opposed of, I'm just going based off of what I feel. Now I'm going based off of what I know. So when I speak, this is based off of study. So if you are studied up, then I make perfect sense. But if you are not studied up, then some things are going to make sense, some things are not going to make sense. Study. That's what it's all about, study. All right. Great app. Hours to get started working with planetary hours. Yeah, definitely download the planetary hours app on your phone, Android or iPhone. So if you wanna get into the planetary hours, there's an app for you that'll do all the calculations for you, and then we got to get that deep into it. It's an app that'll do everything for you. You just gotta put it on your phone, and you already know where to go from there. So again, things are just a little bit too simple in today's time to not be studied up. But again, we're just so used to relying on technology, we're not utilizing our mind. All the numbers in your phone are saved. How many people know the numbers in their phone by heart? What happened if you lose your phone? Can you still function mentally? Do you have all these things recorded mentally? Most people don't. And that's why, again, when you ask somebody to study, it's like you talking to a foreign species. Because what do I need to study? I just, I need to Google Maps, Google this, Google that, YouTube this, YouTube that. People just have got conditioned to have quick access. They're not trying to take the long road, but The long road is what keeps you here. Because I said, I've been at this for a minute. I've seen the transitions. See, I was around before the shit was popping like it's popping now. I was around when motherfuckers still looking at me weird, when this wasn't the thing to be. So I've been around, I've been conscious enough, long enough to see the transition to where it's cool to speak about these things now. This was not the case when I started to study. So I had to, I had to go into the underground for years just to continue to study this. So when y'all see this manifestation, know that there's a lot of pain and struggle behind this, because again, I'm coming from a time before it was okay to speak about these things that led me to be homeless and all these things, because I had to, this was coming from within the heart. And then I'm like, if I'm in the streets or not, I'm going to follow what my heart is emitting to me. And had I never done that, had I just been a regular Muslim like everybody else or a regular Christian, then these videos wouldn't exist. I wouldn't be where I am now. So I had to go through the struggle. So I'm letting motherfuckers know, because I've been through it. This is not coming from a person who has not did what I'm telling you to do. However, you exist in a time where it's easy for you to have access to this information. I came from a time where if you type some shit in YouTube, it was only a couple people that came in the search results. Like when I was studying, you couldn't just type it in YouTube and you had a million results, because everybody wanted to be spiritual. This is before all of that. This is before The Secret came out and all that. So what I'm saying, motherfuckers was on some other shit. Didn't have nothing to do with this. It was before The Secret. It was before anybody even knew about this shit. Because the spirit woke me up. It wasn't the New Age. It wasn't The Secret. Whatever woke other people up. Everybody has their own experience, right? But we ain't got to get into that. Enough about that. Enough about that. Let me see. And when you're doing inversion, how do you make your neck stronger? Just practice. You gotta practice it. So if you can't do it for 20 minutes, then do it for 10 minutes. If you can't do it for 10 minutes, do it for 5 minutes. And you just gotta slowly build your way up. Just practice, 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 practice. All right. I was told I carry the energy of Osiris in my set astrologically. What does that mean? And are you familiar with their connection with Sirius, which seems to be a constellation I'm astrologically connected to? Yeah. I wouldn't really be able to tell you about you unless I was doing your natal chart. So you're really asking me a question I can't thoroughly answer, because I don't have your alignments right in front of me. So I would have to literally have your alignments in front of me, to really accurately answer your question. But if you want a natal reading done for me, just email me. But it's really not no way for me to answer that without looking at your alignments personally. But yes, Osiris is connected to Sirius. But yeah, that is a real thing. So if you carry the energy of Osiris, that means you can say you carry the energy of Orion as well as Sirius. So you pretty much, the more you study the star constellations also have personalities beyond the zodiac. So we're going beyond the planets in the zodiac. We're going into the cosmos itself. Like so Orion, Sirius, Androgener, Pleiades, so on and so forth, Pegasus, stuff that people don't even know about. They all have a personality, but that's a whole deeper science that we don't even have to get into right now. All right. Lastly, I noticed light worker, dark worker dynamics in Tom and Jerry, the movie in '93, and a lot of movies focus heavily on paranormal and supernatural, because this is a way of life. Everything is based on mythology. It don't matter what cartoon you're talking about, it's all based on mythology. This is where they get the blueprint for their cartoons, their animes, their video games. All this is based on mythology. So when you study mythology, you know exactly what you're getting yourself into when you play these video games, when you read these articles, when you study the paranormal, when you study the supernatural. When you know about mythology, you can identify what you are looking at. That's my whole point. You study mythology, so when you see anything, you know, like, oh, so whatever people watch nowadays, what do people watch nowadays? I think Power, that HBO, like I don't know about any of these shows. This is all based on mythology. You can identify the deities based on when you watch a show, you know who's who. You know, you like, oh, that's Osiris, that's Osset. That's you can identify the characters in every movie when you know mythology, because all they do is tweak the words. It's like for those who are studied, they know what they're looking at. That's why you study. So when you can decode exactly what you're looking at, and you can see the personalities for what they are, then you realize that you are looking at an initiation taking place right in front of you. All right, thoughts on North Node Virgo. I mean, your North Node is basically, you know, where you are, your purpose of being here, what you were trying to accomplish in this life. So if your North Node is in Virgo, that means you have came here to focus on, again, the Virgo is an earth sign, so you're dealing with the earth. So that's one thing. If you're an earth sign, then you are supposed to have mastery over some type of earth element. And the Virgo is all about small details, right? So Virgo, you know, is very good at managing things that are very intricate, you know, very, very small things and small particles and all that. So that may mean you are a master of the gemstones, a master of diamonds. You know what I mean? It all depends on what you are drawn to. So I can't tell you exactly, because again, I would have to be looking directly at your chart, because I need more than your North Node in Virgo. Like I would have to look at your whole chart to really go in depth. But that's really all I can say, just based on just that alone, not looking at your chart right in front of me. Because I sit on my couch with my legs on the top and head down. I mean, if you have to do that, then sure. You know, if that's what you have to do, that's what you have to do. As long as you are putting in the work, that's all that matters. As long as you are doing something and progressing, that's all that matters. So if you got to start off like that, so what? As long as you are putting in that work, that's all that matters. As long as you're putting in that work. And again, the 5 Tibetan rites. If inversion is too complex, the 5 Tibetan rites will be just as effective. So again, I'm giving you these points. You know, y'all just have to do the research. All right. Why is American football called football, and why is true football called soccer in the U.S.? American football is not necessarily played by the feet. It's all symbolism. Because yeah, you're right. It's all symbolism. If you just look at something on the surface, it's not going to ever make sense. It's all symbolism. What does it symbolize? What does a football symbolize? What do these plays symbolize? And once you can identify what these things symbolize, then you know what you're looking at. You know, what does football symbolize? What does soccer symbolize? And how will you be able to know what it symbolizes? Through study, to be able to decode symbols. Get the ISIS papers for those who are my symbolists out there. Get the ISIS papers. So if you want to know about American society and how they have, you know, availed certain symbolism throughout the culture, the ISIS papers. You know, by Francis Cress Welsing, R.I.P. All right. How do you interpret the energy of Horus? Well, Horus has various forms. That's what I want everybody to realize. Each deity has various forms. So when you say Horus, you can be talking about Horus the child, or you can be talking about Horus the elder. You get what I'm saying? So, you know, you have various forms of Horus. So you have to identify what form of Horus do you identify with. And when you find out what form of Horus you identify with, then you work with that particular form of Horus, because there's various forms. And that's what I'm trying to get people. I know it may be complex, because maybe there's not too many people speaking about the in-depthness of how these things work. So I know it may seem a little bit advanced, it may seem a little bit complex, but as long as you stick with it, continue to watch the videos, you know, continue to watch the Q&As, continue to absorb the information, it'll spark. You gotta keep doing it. You gotta keep going with it. You gotta stick with it. It's like anything else, you know. If you want to be a master, you gotta dedicate at least 7 to 10 years in whatever it is that you do. All right. Oh, what is selling your soul to Satan? Is it just a step up from a pack? No, selling your soul is just basically exchanging your energy for monetary gain because you don't know how your energy works. So people who are selling their soul don't know how the soul works, because if you knew how your soul works, you wouldn't be selling it. Therefore, because you know that everything that I could possibly ever need is already within me. It's just me activating certain DNA codes for me to accomplish my goals. But if you don't understand that process, you're trying to get rich quick. Then selling your soul just means you're willing to do something that is against your heart in order to get monetary gain. That's what selling your soul means. When you are willing to do something that does not resonate with you in order to get monetary gain. For example, if you're not a killer and somebody, I'm not even going to say somebody, the devil has told you to kill someone, but you're not a killer and you feel terrible about it. You do it, but you feel terrible about it. Because now, whenever you want money, now you got to kill, but you're not a killer. So it's not your path. Because a real killer doesn't get emotional, because this is what they were born to do, just like a warrior. If a motherfucker coming to this world being a warrior, they not really fickle about picking up some shit and doing damage. But if you're not built like that, then that's what you are prescribed to do, because you are now engaging in pacts with deities that love to spill blood. Then you got to spill blood whenever you want the monetary gain and whatever it is that you're asking for. That's all it is. So if you're not built like that and you're just doing it because you're just trying to get out of a bad situation, like I told you, that's when you get into those loopholes. So selling your soul just means doing something that is against your own heart. Not about moralism. That's why I say if you're built like that, then you're built like that. But if you are a person that's not built like that, you're made to do something that doesn't resonate with you because you don't understand yourself. And that's when people have bad experiences, because they don't understand their own power. So because they don't understand their own power, their punishment is, okay, I'm going to make you do something that I know you don't want to do, but I know you're going to do it because you want whatever it is that you're asking for bad enough. So therefore, now you have to sell your soul, because now you're going against your own nature for whatever monetary gain that you're receiving. That's what it means to sell your soul. You're going against your nature. So let's just say you work in Hollywood, but they make you put that dress on, because that's what takes you to the next level. It's recorded in Hollywood. You got to put that dress on. You want to become a big star, put that dress on. If you're a person that's against what you stand for, I would never put a dress on, because I'm not with that. But you put the dress on anyway because it will propel you to the next level. That's what it means to sell your soul, because you're doing something against your nature. But if it's not against your nature, then it is what it is. But if it is against your nature, then it's like you're selling your soul, because that's not who you are. And you would not be doing that if a motherfucker wasn't waving a paycheck in your face. So that's, hopefully y'all can understand that analogy. All right, where we at? Skull and Bones founded the NFL in the 19th century, 322. Makes sense. I don't doubt it. It is what it is, though. You know? So if you understand the Freemasons, I talked about the Freemasons, the video before last. I talked about the origins of the Freemasons. So y'all know what energy that is then, because I just literally just broke down that whole science and watched my number, the science or the secret behind the number 13. That's for those two videos. So you already know what that is. So if you already know what that is, then you already know what that is. All right. You mentioned about the Planetary Hour app. For what do you use it to do spell work? So if you need to do a love spell, you would do that in the hour of Venus. So you would get a planetary app to know when the hour of Venus is, so you can plot and plan your spell work for that specific time during the hour of Venus. And that's when you would do your love spell. If you're doing a war spell for some war, you would do that during the hour of Mars. So you would look for the hour of Mars and plan your ritual around the hour of Mars, so on and so forth. Or when you can identify the planetary energy or whatever task you're trying to accomplish, then you were doing it during that planetary hour. So that will make that spell effective. Versus you're doing something, trying to connect with the hour of the sun, doing the hour of Mars or the hour of Venus, that's when people have mistakes happen, because their timing is off. Keep your timing on point, and that's how you become successful. If you want to become successful in life, do things according to the timing. This is why you study. You study to gain the specifics of things so that you can properly arrange things and put things in order, doing things at specific times on specific days. And that's the true root or basis of success. Time management and the rearrangement of time to suit your needs. Right? Where we go? God damn. What's up, divine chakras? What's the deal? What's the deal? What if you're selling your soul and help in spiritual ascension or awakening your abilities? I work with Satan a good amount, and it just seems like selling my soul would just embrace more of that. Like, what if Satan Baphomet specifically is your divine partner? Would that strengthen the bond? Again, if you're looking at Satan as a deity, like a actual intelligence, then that's the type of relationship you're going to have with it. If you look at it as something greater than yourself, then that's how that energy is going to react with you. Remember, these deities don't mind sucking up your energy if you put yourself in that if you on your fucking knees worshiping some fucking deity, that deity will take and accept that energy. Why not? To have another servant, to have another slave, why not? Motherfucking humans would like, if a motherfucker knocked on your door, hey, I want to be a slave. I'll wash your feet and suck your dick. Come right in, right? Easy. So the deities think the same way. Like they're not fucking high and moralistic. That's a fantasy. Therefore, this is what I said. If you don't understand your own ability, then you will be manipulated. Easy. Because that's just the way the world works. People capitalize off of people's ignorance. So if you are ignorant, then the deities don't mind capitalizing off of you. Sure, you want to help me out? You want to give me energy? Sure, why not? Because you don't understand your own energy. So do you need to work with Satan? No. Is Satan necessary? No. But do you truly know what Satan is? Because once you know, which I've already broken down throughout the courses of these videos, so when you should not even be thinking about Satan as a supernatural energy. Anyway, if you've been following along. Now, if you have not been following along, then you need to catch up. But if you're still thinking about Satan in the form of a God versus devil, a religious way, then it's not going to make any sense. So get out of that. Get out of the religious thinking. Then things make sense. Think like a scientist. Don't think like a religious fanatic. Just throwing yourself to these deities and energies and you don't know what you're doing. Be a scientist and know what you are doing. You know what I mean? That just keep things simple, keep things in place. So you don't end up getting involved with energies that you don't understand because you already know what you're doing. I don't know how many ways I gotta say that. All right. So y'all get the fucking point, right? So y'all know every time I hit the record button, y'all know y'all in for a treat. So once again, I'll promote the website one last time, asharenu.com, $5 a month. Got access to over 100 articles from all around the world, all type of sciences. Help you get right real quick, real smooth. So I will be putting that Sutek, the Elder God, Part 2 up right after I finish this video. So I will have Part 1 and Part 2 up for the website. You know, for those who want that extra plus lesson, that's what I call it. I just call it plus lessons. So the website is full of plus lessons. The foundation is here. The foundation is on the YouTube. The plus lessons is on the website. So that's what the website is for those who are into the plus lessons. Now we'll be doing classes pretty soon as well. And what I'm going to do, so instead of charging people, let's just say $100 up front for the class, because it'd be like maybe like four weeks or whatever. So instead of charging people like $100 a month, what I'm going to do, I'm going to offer another tier for my website. Or basically what I mean by that is you can pay $10 a month. You pay $10 a month. It's going to give you access to the classes, which will all be at least an hour long, uploaded 4 times a week. But the $10 will give you access to all the previous classes as well. And that's the thing, because we're keeping everything affordable. So instead of me charging you $100 up front, you just pay me $100 over the course of 10 months, then you will be getting lessons every month, $10 a month. Then for the people still paying $5, of course, you're going to get access to the articles and the exclusive videos as well. You know, you will still have access. But for those who want the classes, because what I'm going to do, again, I'm going to make sets of videos. So it'll be maybe 5 to 10 videos just based on a specific subject. So I dedicate 5 to 10 videos to a specific subject, each about an hour long. So if you want that in-depth information about whatever particular subject, $10 a month to give you access to the classes and every other class before that. So essentially paying $10, you can have access to like 100 hours of video for cheap. You know what I mean? Instead of me just, again, it's good business, right? It's good business. Keep everything affordable. So look out for that. So we're definitely, those in the works, getting the classes on point. So other than that, I think that's it for the advertisement. You know what I mean? When you got your own website, you just promote your website, right? So that's what I'm doing. Got a website, promote the website. Definitely support if that's what you choose to do. Definitely stay tuned to the YouTube videos if that's what you choose to do. And we're going to be right back at it. So y'all take it easy. Peace.